Today I will be focusing on trust. Trust. Trust is the glue that holds all relationships together. It is glue. If that glue becomes weak, relationships begin to break apart. And all human relationships are held together by trust, whether it's a marriage relationship or a professional relationship, a business relationship between a vendor and a client, teacher and students. All these relationships we have are held together by trust. Whether it's finance, held together by trust. It is not for nothing that most financial institutions, banks, insurance companies have trust in their name. At a certain point in Nigeria, almost every bank was called a trust. Standard Trust, Guaranteed Trust, National Trust, People Trust, especially when there were other public relations difficulties for the nation, with people creating embarrassing situations for everybody in that country. The banks adopted trust in their name. I've seen that trend is changing because I think they've built enough trust. But it's not only there in that country. In Ghana, when we make our social security contributions, we give it to SSNIT, Social Security and National Insurance Trust, because we need to trust them with our deductions. And hopefully, when we go on retirement, there will be something left for us to enjoy for our pension. When a parent wants to invest for his children, and he wants to invest money in a very secure way, they build a trust fund and then appoint trustees to manage that. So trust is very important. It's important for finances. It's important for relationships. The whole banking industry is based on trust. That's why when trust is undermined in any financial institution, they're going to have a lot of issues to deal with. When people are asked, people who are in relationships, want to marry or are married, as for what they are looking for, what is the most desirable quality in the person they want to marry or their partner, trustworthiness is almost always number one. Trust is not about being sexy or being attractive, although that gets to be mentioned a lot. But if you ask people, they will tell you, I want somebody I can trust to love me, somebody I can trust not to do the wrong thing. Economically, it has been determined that countries with low trust ratios have weak economies. And I can tell you confidently that in Ghana falls within the zone of countries with low trust. Countries like Norway, Sweden have high trust. And most of the time they operate some of the best economies and social systems for their people. But in countries like ours, trust is very low. You don't even need a research finding. You know we don't trust each other. There is a lot of mistrust. Because if you're going to build a big organization, the foundation has to be trust. And where there's no trust, there is no relationship. There's no trust, you cannot deal with people. So what is this trust? That is a glue that banks use and insurance companies use and people are desiring. What is it? Simple definition. Trust is a firm belief. And that is very important. Trust is a belief. It's a belief that something is true, reliable, and strong. Something is true, it is reliable, and it is strong. It's a belief that something is true, is reliable, and it's strong. We believe Social Security and National Insurance Trust is keeping our monthly deductions. We believe that. They may not be, but we believe it. And if there should be revelation that they are not, then people's trust will be minimized, and so contributions will go low. Even in church, if people don't trust, their giving goes down. So trust is important. It's a belief that something is true, it is reliable, and it is strong. I just want to read from 2 Samuel chapter 22, verses 1 and 3, a statement that David made. And he spoke these words at a point in his life. 2 Samuel chapter 22, verses 1 to 3. I'm not sure whether you can do something about the echo, in the sound. 2 Samuel chapter 22, verses 1 to 3. I know sometimes people get worried when I make these comments about sound. I can't handle distortion. When something is distorted and I stay with it for a long time, I have to correct it because I can't handle distortion. 2 Samuel chapter 22, verse 1 to 3. It says, "Then David spoke to the Lord the words of this song on the day when the Lord had delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. And he said, 'The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, the God of my strength. In him I will trust. My shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold and my refuge, my savior, you save me from violence.'" I want you to take particular note of this verse. David is talking about the Lord in whom I will trust. Verse 3, the Lord in whom I will trust. So he's talking about the Lord in whom he trusts. Now, then he tells us why he trusts the Lord. He says, "I trust him because he is my rock, not my stone that is movable, my rock, something that is firmly fixed in place. My fortress, a strong building of defense. My deliverer, my strength, my shield, the horn of my salvation, my stronghold." That's why he trusts him. Now, if David had the impression that the Lord was movable, not dependable, not reliable, he couldn't trust in him. So therefore, for trust to take place, there has to be strength, there has to be reliability, there has to be truth. So for those of you who are looking for somebody to marry, if you're a young lady and a young man, let's hope he's not an old man, but a young man approaches you. If he's an old man, just tell him to marry his size. But a young man, your age. Not somebody's grandfather, your age. All right. That's for another day. But somebody comes to you, a young lady, a man comes to you, or you're a young man and you're going out with a lady, and you're beginning to wonder, is he the right person and all of that. Most of the time, the things you are thinking about is all trust related. Yes, you think, is he handsome, not handsome? Well, after you met him the first time, you know whether he's handsome or not. So, if he's not handsome, but he smiles nicely, you just take the smile and leave the handsomeness behind. You can't get the whole package. You just take what comes. But you want to ask, can I trust him that he will not cheat on me sexually? Will he be faithful? Can I trust him that when I'm weak, he'll be strong for me? Can I trust him that he will love me above everybody else and really make me feel special? These are the things you are thinking about. It's all about trust. Trust stands on three important legs. Number one is truth. Truth. Facts. Reality. Truth. It's a very important foundation for trust. Now, truth is sometimes very difficult to agree on in a relationship, because sometimes we don't see the whole truth. If I hold this sheet of paper or this folder in my hand, and it has two sides. One side, the left side, has a picture. Our backdrop is on the left side. The other side is plain, it's white. Now, if I hold this way, and there are two people, one is standing on my right, the other is standing on my left, and I ask them, what is the color of this folder? One would say it's white. And that's true from where they are seeing it. The other says it is a design of people worshiping. And that's true. They're talking about the same thing. And they may decide to argue over this and never agree. And actually, the one here seeing the white can tell this one, you are a liar, you are a liar. And the other one says, me a liar, you are the liar. You are the big liar. And the reason is because each one is seeing one side. And I'm sure if one of them moved from their side to the other person's side, they will realize he wasn't a liar. So many times in marriages, the quarrel is not really based on somebody being a liar or not a liar. It is simply they are looking at it from different points of view. And if you want to eliminate that, then you have to learn to move from your side and look at it from the other person's side. So trust is important. Truth is a foundation, but don't be in a hurry to call your spouse, your friend, a liar, simply because they are expressing a view of something you feel very convinced about. It simply may mean that you are looking at it from only one side and they're looking at it from the other side. So normally in marriage counseling, when people come with, as for me, I only believe the truth. Normally when people tell me that, I become very suspicious of them. As for me, I tell only the truth. Most of the time, they are one view people. They only see it from their view and have no tolerance for other people's views. And so cannot stand and empathize and feel for and understand how the other person sees it. Because we all see things from our point of view, believe you me. In this auditorium, I'm seeing everybody's face because that's my point of view. And some of you are seeing the back of people's heads. That's the only thing you saw in church today, back of people's heads. Because that's where you sit. Now, we're in the same auditorium, but we're looking at it from different perspectives. So, truth is a foundation, but don't be in a hurry to brand somebody a liar simply because they have a different view, unless you've stood where they stood or viewed it from their point of view. You cannot really judge their perspective. But truth is a foundation for trust. The second is reliability. Reliability. Reliability is being constant. Being constant. This refers to the quality of being predictable. We trust things which are constant. We trust that the sun will rise tomorrow morning. I don't need any prediction. I know tomorrow morning by 6 o'clock latest, the sun will be up from the east. And it will not go north. It will go to the west. It's predictable. So I can rely on it for my time, for my calendar, and actually plan a 30-year plan, make a 30-year plan based on the reliability of the sun rising constantly. However, the rain does not rain every day. It rains, temperamentally. So I cannot make constant plans with the rain because I cannot guarantee that tomorrow morning it's going to rain. But I can guarantee tomorrow morning the sun will rise. Reliability means that people can guarantee something with you, guarantee trust. They can guarantee something. You're reliable, you're constant. And in every relationship, it's very important that you're constant. You don't want people to always be figuring you out, trying to figure you out. What is he trying to do? What does he mean? What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? If you're in a relationship where there's what is that, what is that, what is that, there's no reliability. And something else is there, and I'll talk about that. The third pillar, or the third leg on which trust stands, is strength. Strength. Trust stands on strength, the ability to withstand pressure. We trust things that are strong. David said, my strong tower, my rock, I will trust you. We trust things that have been tried and tested and still standing. The first time you sit on a chair, most likely, you don't test it. I mean, when you came into church today and you were ushered to your seat, you didn't take the chair, lift it up, examine the legs. Is it strong? No. The first time you are introduced to a chair, you go and sit on it. However, if you sit on that chair and it breaks, the next time you go to sit on it, you will check it. Or if you have had a broken chair experience in other churches before you came here, probably you were in a church where every day you sit on your chair in church, the chair breaks. And after about 10 breaks, you got fed up and decided, let me go to ICGC. Now, if you come to ICGC and they usher you to a church, I can guarantee you, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to examine the chair. Knock it up, hold it. Is it strong enough? Because you've had a broken chair experience. But if you haven't had that, then you're going to trust the chair until the chair proves otherwise. Because you trust that it is strong. It is strong. So, for us to trust something, it has to be truthful, it has to be reliable, it has to be strong. It can withstand pressure. So how does that affect relationships? Relationships, the trust in our relationships are broken, therefore, by lies. Much as I use the illustration of looking at it from different sides, there are people who actually lie. It's not other perspective. This is lie. They can come to your perspective and still it's a lie. There can be lies. There can be weaknesses. Trust can be broken by weaknesses, by violence in a relationship, by rage, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and most prominently, sexual unfaithfulness. And once it is lost, you may find the other person would never trust that chair again. Because once we break trust, there is the Humpty Dumpty effect. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And all the king's men and chariots, is that what it says? And horses could not put Humpty together again. Now, I believe that as Christians, God can put Humpty together. But there will always be cracks to remind the king's men that Humpty got broken. And this is a fixed Humpty and not the original Humpty. Because the fixed Humpty will always have cracks. Now, there are relationships that start right from the beginning from mistrust. Because there wasn't truth. Then there is suspicion. There is non-reliability. The person is not strong. Now, if you are a man and you feel your wife is not strong, there are men who say, I know my wife. She is not strong. Or I know my husband. He is not strong. If you put pressure on him, he will yield. The way I see that girl behaving, I know my husband. if you put pressure on him, these girls that are passing in front of him and smiling, yeah, I know my husband. He is not strong. Now, why would a wife say, I know my husband? He is not strong. Because she has tested the chair. And he knows this chair, it breaks. Let me tell you something for all of you who are in relationships you want to marry. If your ability to withstand sexual pressure and still remain firm before you marry helps you to trust each other after you marry. I know it will put pressure on you because your hormones are boiling. But if you can be strong and your wife knows that yes, you courted for so many years, you were together many times, you had the opportunity to do something beyond brother, sister. But both of you resisted that pressure and you stood firm. It confirms to both of you that this chair can be sat on. It's firm. But when the chair breaks all the time, especially, it goes in and out, goes in and out, goes in and out. Today is with that, and tomorrow with that other man, and with that other girl, and you keep undermining that trust. You go ahead and marry, and I'm not saying that your marriage will not work. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it will not work, but you would have trust issues. You will have trust issues. It is better to build trust with the person you want to marry, because in marriage there will come pressure. What if you work in the office and the office sends you on a trip with a colleague? You're going somewhere else with your colleague for a seminar, for a workshop. And you're going to be on the same plane or the same bus. You're going to stay in the same hotel. How can your husband be sure that you will be firm? You have to build into your trust bank. And what you do to build into your trust bank is that you should have proven ahead of time that under extreme pressure you can stand. Because if you haven't made that investment, then when you go, the phone calls will be coming every 30 seconds. Where are you? Hey, honey, where are you? Everything okay? Honey, how are you? Everything okay? Honey, how are you? Everything okay? What are you doing now? What is that voice I'm hearing? Who is the voice? Who is that voice? So the whole relationship becomes suspicious because the chair breaks. The chair breaks. It's important that we build into the trust investment and make investments of trust in each other. Now, usually, when trust is lost, it takes a long time to restore it. And when it is being restored, there will always be reminders. Don't take it negatively. God is a redeemer. Jesus is a redeemer. And he can not just redeem our character, but he can redeem our relationships and redeem them to the uttermost. He can make something that started as a problem become a solution. But for that to happen, we have to work with him. And we have to allow him to rebuild the broken pieces. It's better if the pieces never got broken. But if they are broken, they can be mended. And you can mend it. Now, if, for example, I am in a relationship with somebody, let's not even talk marriage, business relationship, and you go and I lie big time. You know, the kind of lie that when you are caught, you can't do anything about it. You are caught and you are caught. You lie big time. And my business partner says, I don't trust you again. But granted, I repent, and I genuinely repent, and I go to the Lord, and I repent, and I really start working on my character, and I begin to build trust. I am not going to expect that this person is going to trust me overnight, the way he trusted me the first time. He's going to trust, but verify. Always trust, verify, check, cross-check, recheck, overcheck. Now, I shouldn't get offended if he does that, because I have opened the door for mistrust. What I should do is pray that God will help me never to undermine trust again, so this person can grow to trust me, if not as perfectly as before, as close as possible as before. But if I get offended at that, then it means I don't even acknowledge what I have done to create the mistrust. It takes a long time to build trust. As anybody who has been broken knows. When I was a young boy, I went to swim in our so-called swimming pool, which I later got to realize it was a gutter. But, you know, we call the swimming pool, and let me just address it as a swimming pool for my own dignity and self-respect. It's not good to think that the pastor was swimming in a gutter like a Zongo boy. So, now, when I got to that swimming pool, I had an experience. I jumped up, dived because I saw people do it, and I went down, and I swallowed a lot of water. And I came up. And I don't swim again. I don't trust the water. I don't trust the water. When our children were young, we took them to the swimming pool, and and daddy come, it's so easy. I said, go ahead. I don't trust the water. I don't trust the water. I don't trust it. You may tell me everything. You may convince me, show me video, tell me to psychoanalyze and deliver myself. I don't trust the water. I don't trust it. But my children trust the water. My wife trusts the water. I don't trust the water. Clean swimming pools, clean, clear water. Lifeguards, everybody. I don't trust it. Now maybe if I am desperate enough, I may overcome the mistrust. But that water did something very bad. Very, very bad to me when I was very young. I don't trust it. That's what trust is. That's what happens. You get a broken heart, and it's broken really, really, really hard. Trust becomes difficult. And that's why sometimes people can be in a relationship for a long time and not be able to make a permanent commitment because Humpty got broken. And they can't trust. And sometimes when you can't trust and you do nothing about rebuilding trust, you can deepen your mistrust. You can deepen it. Now, in relationships, there are little things we can do to build trust. I mean, instead of just going to somebody and say, trust me, trust me. Trust me, I'm telling the truth, trust me. Just tell the truth. They will trust you. Because telling people trust me won't make them trust you. You have to be a rock. So, for married couples, we have to invest in trust. If, for example, you are a man and you're watching television, which happens to all of us, watching a nice program, maybe a documentary, something nice, and you're right in there, and it's getting to the sweet part, and your wife calls you or comes to sit by you, and you know she needs a little attention. You know it. But you like the lion that is going to catch the antelope more than this woman. At this point in time, your priority is lion catching the antelope. Because at that time, the woman is thinking, and I'm saying woman because I'm a man. I'm not married to a man, I'm married to a woman. So I use man-woman, example all the time. I'm sure if a woman was preaching, she would use husband. It doesn't mean husbands also don't need attention. I'm just saying I'm a man, and so I'm using a woman as an example. Now, at that time, that woman is calculating in her head, whom does she love more? The lion or me? Because you've seen it. I mean, when you're a man, a husband, you can always tell when your wife just wants to chat, but you don't want to chat because you must finish this documentary. Now, if I muster the courage, which once in a while I do, muster the courage and put off the TV, shut it down, and turn to her and say, how are you doing? At that time, I have invested in trust. I've invested in trust. Now, the next time I tell her, I love you, it will not be my words. It will be that I turned off the TV and I sat by her. Now, if I didn't turn on the TV and I kept watching, I said, oh, don't worry, I'll finish just now. Don't worry, I'll finish. Oh, don't worry, this is very interesting. I think you'll like it. And then, everything, the lion catches the antelope, and I feel, wow, that's a great thing. Wow, these lions are powerful. All right, now, the antelope has been caught. Then later, I say, honey, I really love you. That's why some of you men are wondering, when I tell my wife I love her, she doesn't believe me. Why would she believe you? Why would she believe you? You believe in black stars more than her. Why would she believe you? So you may not have a big opportunity to build on the trust. There are little opportunities that God will bring your way. An opportunity to do something very small. And it may be so small you may not even think it's big. But that small act can be a huge deposit of trust, which will help build your relationship. It's almost like, your friend. Maybe your friend is not in town, and your friend has a child in the secondary school, and one Saturday is visitation time, and your friend is not there, and they haven't told you to do anything, but you go take food to their child in the secondary school. You've invested in trust. And next time, if you say, "That's my friend," in his heart he would know that's true, because you invested that little act of going to the secondary school to give some food to his child. So there will be little moments in our lives, whether in business relationships, in office relationships, in professional relationships, where you invest. And as Christians, one of the things that God helps us with is that the Holy Spirit speaks to us. The Holy Spirit speaks to us and makes us sensitive to the things we must be sensitive about. And if we really respond, we can help build the trust in our relationships. Because one of these days, you're going to cash on the trust. I firmly believe that if we build trust at all levels, interpersonal relationships, we can solve almost all the financial problems we have. I've said this several times. Poverty is not a problem. Mistrust is the problem. Because if I trust you, I don't need money to transact with you. Many years ago, people's words were all that was needed for a business transaction. And even now, there are people who pick up a phone and call a bank, and without issuing a check, without any documentation, they can give them some big money, 5 million, 10 million, just a phone call, because of trust. You will go with your collateral, your mother's house, your grandmother's house, your family land, and guarantees from everybody, and you don't get a loan. Nobody trusts you. We have the solution to every problem in this church. Every problem, the solution is sitting down here. We can totally eradicate poverty around us. Only on one basis: trust. But it's difficult to build because Ghana is generally a low trust society. We don't trust people. There's tribal mistrust, ethnic mistrust. There is general mistrust because for some reason, lying sometimes comes quite easy to some people. Stealing, taking advantage of. Instead of investing in trust, we are always cashing what we haven't invested. Now, if you meet somebody for the first time and you ask him for a favor and you haven't invested in that relationship, that person is not going to trust you again. It happens to all of us. Somebody you haven't met for 25 years shows up after 25 years. Haven't seen him. He's never said hello to you before. And the first day after 25 years that you meet, he's asking for a favor. Now, why would I do that? 25 years, where have you been? What have you invested? But 25 years, you want favor. Sometimes you meet a classmate. After 25, 30 years, he's coming to visit you. You expect that after 20, even if you have a need, at least the first 3 visits, make an investment. Just, oh, we haven't met for so long. I just wanted to see you and see how you are. How is it, everything? Oh, we are, and so we laugh, one, two. Come again next time, invest. And then I will begin to think, well, I think this guy is a genuine guy. And then the 4th visit, he said, anyway, I have a little problem. Invest in it. All right? Don't make demands on people when you haven't invested emotionally into them. Don't ask for favors from people when you haven't made any investment into them. So, what do we do when trust is broken? Maybe you are here today and the trust is broken. First, you have to come clean. Come clean. There's nothing more annoying than somebody who's done something wrong, everybody knows is wrong, and is still denying. Because denial only leads to more mistrust. So the truth has to come out, along with the responsibility or the commitment to take responsibility for your actions. So, the thing has happened. Don't try to polish it. Come clean. But in coming clean, you have to also be mindful that at this time you are dealing with a person who has been wounded. And the measure in which you communicate your coming clean is very important, because you may end up wounding the person the more. But be as honest as possible, as clean as possible, and as open as possible. And don't blame anybody. Take personal responsibility. Because it's almost like when you have a wound, you have to clean the wound. Clean the wound. In our day, it was with iodine. You clean the wound. Do they still use iodine for sores, for wounds? When you went to play football in the neighborhood, you come with scratches, and I don't know why it always happens. You're going to bust your toe because we didn't have boots. Thank God for the children of today. They have sneakers. We play football with our bare foot, and you're going to bust your big toe. I've torn that thing about 1,000,000 times, Poof, it's open. And then when you come on the field, you are limping, but when you get home, you're trying to walk straight. Sometimes children think parents don't think. Parents, they think. They can get you. So your mother is going to look and say, what's happening? Oh, nothing. Why are you walking like that? Oh, I fell down small when I was playing. Come, let me see. Then the culprit is seen. Busted toe. Iodine. Here I come. And you're going to scream and scream and scream. But the reason they clean the wound is because they don't want the wound to fester. If you don't want to fester the relationship, come clean. Come clean. Bring the iodine out. Bring the rubbing alcohol. Clean it up. It's going to hurt you, It's going to wound you, but it's going to prepare the way for the healing of the relationship. Come clean about it. Don't try to hide. Come clean. It won't solve everything, but it will help in the healing. Being defensive, righteous, or casual about the problem never works. Sometimes, people go into reverse anger. What they have done comes out and they burst out angry. You have sinned. You have gone to do that nasty thing, and we're talking about it, and you are angry. You can't be angry. Neither can you be casual about it. You can't treat it as if it's nothing. It's serious. If somebody has been sending you texts at 3 a.m., it's serious. And you can't say that Airtel delayed the text. It was sent in the afternoon, and Airtel delayed it. It's 3 a.m. Now, what is that man doing at 3 a.m. at this time to send you, a married woman, a text that said, "I miss you"? And he said, well, but he's saying it in a brotherly way. 3 a.m. "I miss you" is not brotherly. It is a very dangerous "I miss you" at 3 a.m. That man is dreaming bad dreams wherever he is, and he's transferring it. If you are caught, come clean. Don't just say, "This man, I don't even know him," or "I don't know him." You know him. You know him. Yes, come clean. It won't kill you. The iodine will hurt you, but it will help you to be healed. It's important to talk about what made you do it. Not with the intention to make an excuse, but sometimes it's always important in talking about what got you into a place, it helps you to also understand the processes that gets you into a mess. The more you talk about it, the more you do a pathology of your weaknesses. Because you should be able to lay yourself out there and do a proper study. And know that when you are in this mood, when you think this way, when that happens, when this happens, it makes you prone to do that. It's always important to do that. Now, since you are in a partnership, when you make your partner aware of the processes that leads you into trouble, that partner also becomes a help in your healing. So when the trouble is coming, they can give you early warning signals. For example, if you're a man and you know that certain states or certain times in your life, when you feel angry, you feel depressed, you're going to get drunk. And your partner knows that, your wife knows that. It helps her when she sees you getting into that mood to try to cheer you up and to help to manage your mood so you don't get to the point where you have to go and get drunk. You have to open up and talk about the processes. And if it's adultery, you have to open up to know what leads you to that. So when the signals are showing, help can be offered. Even if your wife cannot do it or your husband cannot do it, both of you can seek for better help. In a marriage, it's always important that when we are trying to rebuild trust, that we make our lives an open book. That means your cell phone should be there. And when you have a call, you don't run. You know, when you have a marriage where somebody has a call or a text and they are running. Let's face it, why are you running? Is it that the world is going to end if you don't pick that call? I mean, Jesus is calling you right now. That a rapture is going to happen in the next 2 minutes? No. Why is it that when you receive a text, you have to run? And pick your phone and quickly hide it. You are hiding something. You are hiding something. If you have a conversation, if you're a man, you're having a conversation with another woman that you think you would not feel comfortable if your wife was there, don't have it. Don't have it. The same way if you're a woman. This conversation that is happening, if my husband was sitting by me, will I encourage it? Then don't have it. I think it would be good for couples to exchange phones. Don't you think so? Exchange phones for 24 hours. You pick my calls, I pick your calls. Especially those of you who are courting, who are not yet married. Exchange phones. The young man opened his mouth. That's what he did. He did. I think it should be a good program. Phone exchange day. That's a girl you want to marry? Get my phone. That's a man. Trust. I believe that when trust has been broken, these steps are very important. Much as all of us want our privacy, I think when trust is broken, we have to sacrifice personal privacy for trust, to build trust. And it's important, if you're a married couple and trust has been broken, that you renew your vows again. And you take time to talk about your relationship again and ask God to rebuild it for you. The grace of the gospel and of Christ, God's grace, is abundant. And where sin abounds, grace much more abounds. But grace must not be toyed with. We avail ourselves of the grace of God so he can build that which has been broken. He can restore what has been broken. He can make Humpty come together and learn not to sit on the wall again. And if we go to him, he'll repair us. Sometimes in a relationship, things can go wrong, very wrong. It doesn't mean it will go permanently wrong. It means that there is a sign. God is telling you, this is it. You need to work in this area, because especially if you want a marriage relationship, it's a long journey. 50 years, 60 years for some people. It's a long journey. You're going to be stuck with one person for a very long time. So it's better that you repair the problems when they show up very early, so that the long range would be an enjoyable relationship. I just trust God that He will help all of us to build trust in our relationships. At whatever level we are, whether it's courtship, or we're married, or we're business partners, or we're friends, that we will make effort to invest in building trust with truth, with reliability, and with strength. God bless you.
Thank you for watching this video. We believe you've been touched by this message. If you have any comments, kindly leave it in the comment section. And if you have any testimonies or enquiries, you can pen it down in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe to this channel and don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that you won't miss out on any of our videos. See you in the video on your screen.